Yo, guys, ahead of the big game this weekend, we're gonna face Leicester City at the King Power, and I have the title of this video wrong. I have you as the away team. You guys are the home team, and we're the away team. So I'm just gonna change that around quickly. But yeah, let me know, guys. What do you think the score prediction is going to be between Leicester and Arsenal? Do you think Arsenal can get the 3 points once again, or do you think Leicester could maybe pick up some points off us? They haven't been in the best form, and we got a Leicester fan here today to talk about everything that's going on at Leicester to kind of prepare us for the match. Also, we got some big news on who we're going to be playing in the Europa League. Arsenal will be playing Leipzig. That's sport. Sorry, not Leipzig. Sporting Lisbon. Why did I say Leipzig? I'm so sorry. Sporting Lisbon in the Europa League, and we're going to also talk about updates from Mikel Arteta in the Arsenal press conference, where he spoke about Gabriel Jesus and Thomas Partey, in addition to Bukayo Saka's new contract that has been agreed. Also, we're going to get into James Maddison. Is he fit? Is he not fit? Predicted lineups, score predictions, and team updates. Before we go any further, make sure you do hit that goddamn like button right now. If you've gotten to this point of the video, make sure you smash that like button. Let's get this to at least 100 likes. Come on, people. You already know what it is. But before we go any further, big up to my guy, Ant. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, all good. Thanks. Thanks for having me on again. I feel like it doesn't feel long since we were talking just before we played you at the Emirates. Like that's right at the start of the season, and it feels like that was a couple of weeks ago.
Bro, I think it's the opposite. I feel like last time we've been on a video feels like ages with the World Cup, with everything that's happened. Every game feels like another milestone because we're trying to go for the Premier League title. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know what it is like.
I know what you mean. You're probably like every game for you's got so much riding on it. For me, I'm just like, get me to the end of the season. Just get me to the end of the season.
There you go, people. Let's get this show started. Yes. Okay, so people, this is what we're gonna do. Let us know whatever you guys want to talk about. But first, we're kind of just gonna shoot the shit, talk a little bit about the game, get prepared for the game. But before we go any further, bro, you're not in Europe this year. What happened? You guys were like a mainstay in Europe over the last couple of years. I thought it was going to be the big six plus Leicester for the foreseeable future. But this year, you guys let us down. You're not even in Europe. You're nowhere near Europe. And what happened? What happened is Arsenal are in the Europa League. Last year, you guys were in the Europa League, if I'm not mistaken, and dropped down to the conference.
Yeah,
So
it's one of those. Oh, you got Sporting Lisbon. I love that.
yeah,
It's my dad's local team because my family live in Portugal.
you know
But
what? We got ourselves a good tie. I feel like that's a good tie. I like the sporting tie, and it's not too difficult. I feel like you could. There's a lot more. There's not too much competition in this Europa League with quality. I'm looking at that quality. If you just move over a little bit, you can see it yourself. You got a situation where Arsenal are going to play Sporting, Manchester United are going to play Real Betis. I think Feyenoord, Shakhtar, all these other teams, I feel like we could on our day we could easily beat them. So I'm not really too concerned about anybody in this tournament at this moment in time. I feel like we're the best team, to be
I'd,
fair.
I'd say you guys, along with United, will be both looking at that, saying you think you can win it. There's teams like Sevilla you can never rule out in the Europa League. Even Union Berlin, though, like I know because they're not a typically big club, they're top of the Bundesliga, and like there will be difficult games, but you should feel confident to go all the way in that.
You know what? The big thing about this whole Europa League draw is we are still the favorites to win the Europa League, but I kind of want to put all my eggs in the Premier League basket. I see the fact that we're top of this list of teams that could potentially win it, but I would rather focus on the Premier League. I don't know about you guys in the chat. Let me know what you guys think, but I would focus on the Premier League. I know Arsenal are currently favorites to potentially win the Europa League, and we've gotten Sporting, and Sporting are somewhat struggling this season, and we could maybe do something good against them. But I personally don't really care too much about the Europa League. I would sacrifice the Europa League in order to secure the Premier League.
I hear a lot of Arsenal fans saying this, and I don't mean this as like a sort of a get at Arsenal fans. I don't really get that attitude when, like, again, as someone's saying, I'm not here trying to take the mick out of you guys. You don't have, like, compared to the bigger clubs, you don't have the best European history compared to, like, you look at a lot of the other bigger clubs. Yes, you've got the Cup Winners' Cups, but surely a Europa League, like, as a major European trophy, would be something for you guys that you would want to win.
I get that, but also if you had a choice, if you had a choice, right, securing your 14th Premier League title or winning your first Europa League, I'm pretty sure you'd rather have your 14th Premier League title. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, but I don't see it as like black and white, because if you guys keep that momentum going, as you saw it with Liverpool. I know they fell just short at the end of last season, but you want to keep that winning feeling going. And obviously, the ideal situation for you is you win both. If you're an Arsenal fan, then you're absolutely on cloud nine. But I get what you mean about prioritising the Premier League.
I've learned from Liverpool though. Liverpool, they have made mistakes where they've gone for everything and ended up with nothing at times, or ended up with the lesser of the trophies. I've seen situations where Liverpool have prioritized the league and the Champions League, never really picked one, and lost both at the end of the season. So, do I really want to be in a situation where I'm going into a big game versus a Europa League team, and I'm going into a game versus Fulham at home and Fulham at their house, and I lose to Fulham, and then I still have a good I put out a good squad against the Europa League team. I don't want to do that. I would rather take every Premier League team serious, and the Europa League teams, if we do get knocked out, we get knocked out. If we win, we win. But I'm not going to prioritize that tournament because the end reward of winning the Premier League to me is greater than winning the Europa League. Both of them are trophies, but I value one trophy higher than the other. And as a club, I think we should prioritize one over the other. In the case that we get into a situation where we need to play our best players, you play our best players in the Premier League. And it's not like our second base. It's not like Kieran Tierney, Tomiyasu, Fabio Vieira, Jorginho are B-Tech players. They're decent players. They're just not our first team when fit.
No, that's it. And that's something that you guys have done so well, by the way, of building, because you looked at Arsenal for a long time. You looked at the 11 and then you looked beyond that and there's nothing there. Now you've got a bench of different options and like rotation. But the thing that I would be worried about if I was an Arsenal fan, and I think you guys will be competing there or thereabouts for the next couple of years, is this is your best opportunity to win the Premier League in a long time, probably since we won it. But then, even then, you ended up finishing, I believe, 10 points behind us. Had to get that one in there, sorry. But it's what happens if you throw all your eggs into the basket of the Premier League and then you still fall short? Do you think psychologically that could have a negative impact? Like we've mentioned Liverpool, like they didn't prioritize one or the other. I think they almost mentally burnt out at the end of last season after missing out on the prizes. I know they got the League Cup and the FA Cup, but they missed out on the two big prizes of Champions League and Premier League. Do you think that could have an effect on you guys?
I am not concerned about playing in the Europa League and the Premier League as per se. I'm just saying when we rotate, we rotate in this competition, and in the other competition we play our first team. You cannot expect us to play our first team in both competitions. There's gonna have to be a level of rotation, regardless. If we're playing in the FA Cup, if we're playing in the League Cup? What is it disrespecting the FA Cup if we rotate?
No, because you're competitive on four fronts, and I'd say when it gets disrespectful is when you get to like the quarters, semis, and then start like rotating and prioritizing stuff when you've got a serious chance of winning it. It's like the League Cup. Was it Middlesbrough you rotated against heavily? Was that this season? And
that was last season. We lost to Middlesbrough. No, Nottingham Forest. We lost to last season. Yeah. And this season we lost to Brighton in the League Cup.
Brighton, yeah. But yeah, it's like you're not good for you guys. I'd say if you're gonna like with those kind of game competitions, because I don't think at the stage you are now of the project under Mikel Arteta, and I hate that word in terms of football, but what he is doing is a project. you don't have the squad to go for all 4 competitions. So I'd say it was almost a blessing in disguise to go out early of that.
I hear that. I hear that. Let's get to some of these comments before we go any further. Big up to the people in the chat. Big up Terrence Tibbs. Big up Diego Costa. He's a Chelsea fan in here. Josh Smith in the house. Yeah, it's a 3 p.m. kickoff. Arsenal games for the next 3 games is not going to be on TV. Crazy to think. The next 3 games are not going to be on TV. Would you sack Brendan Rodgers at the end of the season? Interesting question. What do you think about that?
I've been saying sack him for the last 18 months.
So that's a yes?
Yeah, but I would be honest, he's been backed now, and there was, for certain reasons, he couldn't get back due to FFP. He's now been backed with 3 signings, 3 players that he wanted in Tete, Christensen and Harry Suter, who are 3 players that improve us. So I'd say give him to the end of the season now, because you can't spend, if you're a club like Leicester, 45 million on players and then sack someone.
Okay, there you go. And then people ask any other questions in the chat. George, are you going to King Power? Probably. George, let me know. Are you going to King Power? Yeah, keep asking me. Of course I am. Okay, George's a Leicester fan. He's always in the chat. Big up, George.
He sat behind me at the Emirates.
Oh, really? Big up George, man. Big up George. I definitely need to meet George one day. Maddison is not out. He'll be assessed. He trained with a small knock in his knee. Another person is here saying, I hope, got my hopes up about Maddison, reading that he's about 90% and will be playing. So let me know, what's the update on James Maddison? Because is he fit? Is he injured? What is going on with James Maddison? And also, there was a point where I felt like we were going to sign him, but didn't end up happening. But let me know, what's going on?
It's typical Brendan Rodgers sort of press conference where he says a player's 90% fit and then more than likely will start, but he always sort of puts that question mark there. So I would not be surprised if he starts at all tomorrow. But with you guys signing someone, you're always heavily linked to someone from Leicester and then never end up signing them. And it's always the Arsenal journalists that push it. It's like Mahrez, Kante, Vardy, Tielemans, Maddison. It's like it's every summer there's at least a story.
I know. Big up Tamina Ahmed in the house. Shout out to you. Big up Omar in the house. Shout out to you. Big up Skills saying, would you take Potter over Rodgers?
No, because at the moment I would say stick with Rodgers. I do like Graham Potter. I think Chelsea was the wrong club for him. I've stood by the fact I like what he's done at Brighton, and what he's done at Brighton's a lot more comparable to what he would do at Leicester than compared to what he's doing at Chelsea. Because, like, obviously we can't spend him the way Chelsea have. So I do like what Graham Potter is about, but I would rather us go and have a look at someone like the sporting manager. I can't remember his name or some.
So that's a no to Graham Potter.
No to Graham Potter, but I'd still like someone else to replace Rodgers.
Okay. What's going on with Leicester right now? Tell me, because it's been a while since we last spoke. You guys have been terrible at times. You guys have been good at times. I'm not gonna lie. Going into this game, I'm not too concerned. The only things that I'm concerned about is my injuries and players' updates with what's going on with their personal situation. So let me just give a quick little update on the personal situation with the club. What's going on there? Okay, so here we go, people. So Mikel Arteta had a press conference. If you guys already know, let me just give you guys a quick update, because I think somebody earlier asked, Jim'ah Mubarak, big up to you, my guy. Hope you're doing well. Why have Leicester declined so much recently? We're going to save that for later, Terrence Tibbs. We're going to save that question. Somebody asked about what's going on with Jesus and Partey, if I'm not mistaken. Where is that comment? Yeah, is Partey back? So just to give you a quick update on what's going on with Partey and the status of the players. If you guys know, Kia Football London went to Mikel Arteta's press conference. On the press conference, they spoke about Partey's injury. They spoke about Bukayo Saka's contract. They spoke about Saka's treatment with referees. And they also spoke about Gabriel Jesus returning to the club. These are 3 or 4 major talking points that we need to discuss on today's video. And I know you're probably thinking, why are we talking about this? But you know what? We have to get into all these things because it's very important information that Mikel Arteta has provided us. When speaking in the press conference, Mikel Arteta not only spoke about the players and the players needing to get on with everything. But he spoke about Mohamed Al-Nani's contract. He's been rewarded a new contract throughout his injury. Granit Xhaka, no news yet on Granit Xhaka's contract. That's what Mikel Arteta spoke. He spoke about referees. He's like, I'm sure referees want to protect every game, but of course, there's a lot to focus on with Bukayo Saka, and of course, also the referees have a job. So, kind of deflecting there. Speaking about Gabriel Jesus, he's saying he's progressing well, um, doing more on the field, and he's hopeful that his knee's reacting positively and he'll be back quickly. Respect to the timeline and the doctors. So there's no update yet on that. This is massive news though. When asked about Thomas Partey, he's trained but looks like he could be available. Let's see how he goes today. So Thomas Partey most likely will be available. Not saying he's going to start, but he's going to be part of the squad. And that's pretty much it. Nothing else really to be talking about there with Mikel Arteta's press conference. That was quick and short and quick. So, quick update. Jesus is not fit yet. Thomas Partey is going to be available. Bukayo Saka is going to be getting a new contract. No news on Granit Xhaka's contract. And that is the Arsenal news for today, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty much everything the manager has mentioned. And I'm not too surprised that he would be very vague. All managers are quite vague with their answers these days, if I'm not mistaken, right? But yeah, as we're still going, guys, make sure you do hit that like button. Let me know whatever questions you guys got. At this moment in time, we're only on 15 likes. Come on, you can do better than that. You can do better than that right now, people. But yeah, talk to me, Ants. Also, tell the people you got your own channel. Tell the people about your channel, man.
Yeah, so Ant's Leicester fan channel doing, going back to doing daily live streams. I've been doing home and away match day vlogs this season. So, yeah, make sure to go and subscribe to that. Hopefully, for some positive content tomorrow after what I'm hoping isn't a painful game for me.
There you go. Hopefully, it is a painful game for you because I want you guys to lose. We need this Premier League title, man. You know what? You have enough points throughout the season to keep yourselves up. if that's the goal, at least. I don't know what's the goal for Leicester this season.
I'd say this year probably top 10, and then we're going to have a big reset in the summer that's been talked about quite a lot, and then just go again next year. So I'd say top 10, and then we're going to lose a lot of players in the summer. So it's just get to the summer and then reset.
So Maddison is not injured. Is that accurate?
I don't think Maddison's injured, and it's like you said, Agal. It's such a vague quote from Brendan Rodgers, like all managers are. You can't really take anything from it. But if you look at it, he said something very similar before we played United about Maddison's not. He's a doubt. He was in the starting 11. He said something very similar when we played Villa, and it's like he always seems to say the same sort of thing, and then an hour before kickoff, he's in the team lineup.
Yeah, so James Maddison, guys, he more or less likely will play. Even though it says he's injured, he more or less likely will play. I hope Diaz and Jesus return as soon as possible on the pitch. Bro, Diaz has been out for a long time for Liverpool. Wow, I forgot about him. He's been out for a long time. Egal, would you sign Eddie Nketia to lead the line for Leicester?
No, I think Iheanacho is pretty much one of our best players. So I would say we need a backup striker because Vardy, as much as I love him, he's 36 now. I think this will be his final year. But I don't think if Nketia is going to leave Arsenal to come to Leicester, he's going to want to be the main man. He's not going to come from Arsenal to be behind Gabriel Jesus to come to Leicester to be behind Iheanacho.
You think Iheanacho is better than him?
Yeah, Iheanacho is mad underrated. Like, if you look at his goals and assists per 90, it's right up there with the very best in the league. But it's the fact he just hasn't had an opportunity to play in quite a while because Brendan Rodgers persisted with playing with Daka. Now Iheanacho's had a chance within the last. I'd say if you have a look in the last month, he got what goal? Look, was it a goal, 2 assists against Spurs? 2 assists, a goal against and a goal against Villa. He should have. I love him. He should have scored against United. And then you look previous to that. When we won the FA Cup and that season, he was right up there with goals and assists per 90 across Europe for that season. Like, he goes mad underrated. It's like he's also one of those that I in a weird way I compare him to Gabriel Jesus, and like, hear me out on this, but you'll hear about his numbers doing like that. He does very well with that, but it's like if you actually watch him play, he brings so much more to the team than just goals and assists. Like the link up play and like his ability to press and bring other people into the team is as important than as what he contributes in terms of goals and assists.
I think Iheanacho's good, but I think Eddie Nketia and Iheanacho could play together.
Yeah, but then it forces a change of a system for us. And Brendan Rodgers, like, I don't think Nketia is better than Daka, which is my thing. And it's like Brendan Rodgers has been so.
I don't know what the hell happened to Daka. I thought Daka was good. What the hell happened to him? I haven't seen him in 2 years.
The thing is, though, you play in Leicester's system. If you're a striker that's pace and just getting behind, you might as well go and just leave, because it is a complete like dead shift. You don't get any service in you, like, which is the same reason I don't think Nketia would work at. I don't think Nketia or a striker like that would work at Leicester. It's why Vardy struggled so much in the last year or so. Partly because he's slowing down.
Vardy is a part-timer now. He doesn't even.
Yeah, he is. But it's also the fact that we just do not play enough balls in behind for a player like that to work. So, and Brendan Rodgers is so reluctant to play two up top, but he sticks with the 4-2-3-1. So,
could you see Jamie Vardy picking up form at all this season, or it's just you guys don't play to his strengths anymore? He's done.
We don't play to his strengths, and his strengths aren't what they were a few years ago. Like, he's not slow, but he was up there with the quickest players in the Premier League when he was in his prime. Now he's just sort of average, which for a player that's whole game is based around running the channels and being on the last shoulder, it just for like a top level player, it just doesn't work. I still think he could go for Championship for a few years and absolutely smash it.
I think he's finished. After I seen him miss that shot what game was that? He had
You could list about 5 or 6 terrible chances that he's missed this year. So
yeah, it was something in January where it was like that was it. I was like, oh, that's it. The guy was literally in front of goal and just went boom. I was like, yo, the guy's done. Like, he simply doesn't have it to the level of concentration that he used to when he was playing football. And it's just when your concentration goes, that's it. Like, you're not gonna be able to hack it at the top level. People talking about Daka has gone back to Bangladesh. What?
I don't know what that's.
What are you talking about? Daka's still there. I think that was a joke. I didn't get it. Jesus and Partey. I just gave an update on Jesus and Partey, but you guys want another one? I'll give you another one. Here's another update. Latest on Arsenal's injuries from Mikel Arteta. Partey has trained for a little bit and will be assessed ahead of the game tomorrow. Gabriel Jesus is intensifying his training. His knee is reacting well, and he is pushing. He's really pushing the boundaries. So at this moment in time, that is the latest update on the Arsenal injury situation from Mikel Arteta. There's nothing else that they provided us with. No other information at this moment in time. We're just waiting. But yeah, let's get into the Leicester game. I think that's the next thing that we need to do anyways. Get into this game. Who do you have injured or out?
So there's the question mark over Maddison, but I think that's the only one. So apart from Maddison. James Justin, yeah, but he's been out pretty much all season, so I pretty much forgot about him.
Johnny Evans?
Same for Johnny Evans. So when you haven't heard of players for so long, you may just slip your mind completely. Yeah. So Johnny Evans. Say that again.
Ryan Bertrand's still on your team?
Yeah, he hasn't played a game for us for 18 months.
Okay, so those are the 3 guys that are injured for your on your list. Our list, we have Gabriel Jesus, Eddie Nketia, Gabriel Jesus and Elneny are out. Thomas Partey is back. We pretty much have almost a fully fit team. Just 2 players out from the whole squad. And this is pretty much what they predicted. They're predicting an unchanged side from the team that played Manchester United. The team that played against
Feel like-
thing. Only one change. Martinelli comes back in for Trossard, and Tomiyasu comes. Ben White comes back in for Tomiyasu. Everything else stays the same, and that's it. Really, on your side, you got Ward, Castagna. I don't know what. I don't even know. I don't recognize some of your players like
Harry
Tite.
Suter. Yeah,
I,
he's
I don't.
the new
I don't
signing into
recognize.
centre back.
I don't recognize your back four besides Castagna. Let me tell you who I recognize from your team. I recognize Ward, Castagna, Tillemans, Shrewsbury Hall, Barnes, Maddison, Tite, and Iheanacho. This guy, I just remember him as the guy who conceded a bunch of goals that looks like Carlito. Uh, Christians, I'm not too familiar with his game. And this center back, I'm not too familiar with him either.
Yes. Harry Suter, the centre back, we signed him from Stoke. He basically, you know what Harry Maguire was for us? Like that big, like before he went to United and turned into a meme, like he was actually a deep, like proper decent centre back for us. And like he gives me such similar vibes as that. He's a 6'6", just sort of like, it looks really weird and awkward, but he's a 6'6" ball playing centre back, which doesn't sound like it should work, but it does. He was one of the standout players in Australia's World Cup team, so I like the look of it.
Is it the chubby looking guy?
No, the other centre back. You know, the one with that snap, like that huge tackle in the World Cup against Tunisia.
Let's pull it up. So this is what we have. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is probably going to be our lineup. What about yours?
I think Tielemans might come out. I think Tielemans might come out for Maddison, and then Dewsbury Hall will drop deeper.
So you think they change it slightly?
Yeah, I think if available, Maddison plays because he's our best player. So there's no way that you don't play your best player.
No, but they're gonna obviously put Maddison in the 10. They just don't have him in there right now. So besides Maddison, but Mendy was good against Spurs also.
Yeah, he was good against United. He's one of those players. He's never going to get the headlines of being brilliant, but he always puts in a solid 7 out of 10.
Do you think Maddison could go to City? Because they're saying City is the team that's going to buy Maddison.
That's the only team that I've seen genuine, like, credible journalists linking him to. Like, I've seen all the Newcastle links, but that's all been from their fans and sort of like Newcastle or Northeast-based journalists. The only ones that I've seen sort of from neutral-based and reliable journalists is City. So I think he will go in the summer. I'll be honest, I'm not too bothered where he does go, just as long as we get the fee.
You guys are in good form, actually.
I was going to say, you guys aren't in the best of form. Like, you've won 1 in 5, and it's like, I know you won against Villa, but you haven't suffocated teams like, you know, like when you played, was it United, and you proper suffocated them into their half for that last 20 minutes, half an hour, and like you were just relentless with wave after wave of attack. I haven't seen you play like that for a while, and like it's like when you look at it's like you've lost some. You're still like a fantastic team, but I feel like there's more of an opportunity to get at you now than there has been for a while.
I think that's only because if you guys are going to play a low block from 90 minutes of the game, do you expect you guys to even do that? Like, you basically have to play anti-football for a large majority of the game for us to not have a chance to score. I don't think you guys are gonna play anti-football. Are you gonna do that?
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me if we do. But you say that Brentford had a bit of a go against you guys, didn't they? And so did Villa. And they, like, I know you went on to win that game late on with the Jorginho goal, and then I don't even know was it Martinelli at the end. But they didn't exactly play anti-football. They had a bit of a go, didn't they? So I reckon we'll have a go like
the Man City game. They dominated us in the second half, but they only scored 1 goal. Everton game, honestly, they could have scored so many goals. We really weren't good at all. But you know what? That was mostly because of their tactics. They put like 7 men in the midfield.
Sean Dyche masterclass.
Right? Brentford, another team that had a lot of men behind the ball and only really 2 people in the final third. Man City, we were much better in the first half. Second half, we dropped off a cliff. Aston Villa game, really and truly, we should have won that game for something nil. But we were not clinical. They got a couple goals and they tried to hold on to the lead, and we ended up getting back because Aston Villa are bottle jobs. When it comes to your games, it does look like you're in decent form right now. But
Yeah.
if we just look a little bit earlier than this,
To
you
be
guys,
fair, though, I'd say
you
if you
guys,
look a bit earlier than this, these you see from the Brighton game is when all of our new signings started playing.
yeah, you guys were terrible before then. Like if I just pull it up right now and I just show your fixtures prior to that Brighton game, you guys were losing almost every game.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's because like it's as strange as it sounds. Like we had no balance in our team before Tete came in because we were forcing Maddison to play out on the right wing. Please take that Forest scoreline off. That was the most painful game of the season. But
but this team looks
before
balanced.
well,
This team looks balanced. Oh, it's Amarte. Yeah, you guys don't rate him.
yeah, Albrighton on the right, who's now playing at West Brom. Luke Thomas, who's a championship level left back.
Okay, okay. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
I
so it's like those three signings have been huge, and it's not just the fact that they're players that improve us. It's also the fact that we can move Maddison off that right wing now, where I don't know how he's had the season he's had playing out of position on the right wing. He's been phenomenal, but it means we can put him back in that number 10 position, which it makes us such a better team.
What about this question here? James Madison's injury history. That is a serious thing you have to worry about because, like, you've always had opportunities to sell him. It might get to a point where you might just need to cash in because his injury record shows that he might not be a player who could play at the top level forever.
Potentially, and like regardless of his injury record, I think we cash in on him in the summer anyway. Regardless, so I don't know. His injury record, I don't think it's as bad as it's made out, but I think because he had the knock at the start of the World Cup, it was publicised a lot more because he was around the verge of the England squad. Like if a player gets a knock for Leicester, you won't normally hear about it, but because there was all the question marks, would he get called up to the World Cup? Wouldn't he? He got called up and then got injured. I think it's put it almost under a magnifying glass.
Bro, his injury record is pretty bad. Since 2020, since 2019, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just knee injuries by itself. Just knee
Yeah,
injuries.
but you know when it says knee injuries, is it the same reoccurring injury or is it?
Look at this. So you have two knee injuries in January and November. You have hip injuries twice. You have knee injuries 3 times in a row. Hamstring, hip, unknown injury. He got a head injury. That's random. He got ill. That's random. Ankle. That's random. Knock. That's random. Knee. So just to show you, that is all his injuries in his career.
I
So
think
before then, he didn't miss a game. Like before 2018-19, he didn't miss a game.
Brendan Rodgers masterclass. But the thing is, like you look at a lot of those injuries, and a lot of them are like 1 day, 5 days. Like there is 50 days and the 72 days, which obviously add a lot of weight to it. So it's not ideal, but it's not the worst that you'll see. And regardless for me, like I think because of the fact he's English, the fact he's been Premier League proven, the fact of sort of he's got a bit of a name now in terms of the Premier League. Regardless, we'll be able to get a big fee for him in the summer. So
Let
I'm
me
not
show you my let me show you my guy with injury problems. Thomas Partey. He came to Atletico Madrid. He missed 7 games his whole career at Atletico Madrid. He comes to Arsenal, and look at how many games he's missed. He's missed a total of, what is that? 18 games in his first season. He missed 14 games last season, and this season already he's missed 4 games.
Isn't Kieran Tierney's very similar as well?
Oh my God, Kieran Tierney, I think is worse.
Like, I swear that his
we've
was
already
never
replaced
that much for Celtic.
We've already replaced Kieran Tierney with and his injury issues. He's basically on his way out of the club. I honestly do believe Kieran Tierney's on his way out of the club because when you look at Kieran Tierney's injury record and the fact that when he plays, he's not even really on the level that we want. No, he had a lot of games that he missed
Oh,
out
did
on. So
he? I didn't realise that.
to be
The thing is,
fair,
I proper like Kieran Tierney, but you can't rely on him with that injury record.
nah,
Like,
he misses on average, like, what was it? He missed 2 games in no, he always misses at least double digits every season.
you
He's not
can't.
had one season where he's had less than double digits games out.
Yeah, you can't. You can't rely on. You can't rely on that.
Bro, he had knee surgery, knee, ankle, infection, groin injury, shoulder injury, groin injury, hip, knock, calf,
I,
ruptured ankle. Like the guy has been having injuries his whole career.
I didn't realise that, to be fair, but I still think he's a proper player. He doesn't suit the way that you play. I don't think he's more of an old school left back, isn't he? Just get down the line and whip it in. But the thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves you guys and still goes on and does very well elsewhere. You play with the inverted left back now, don't you, with Zinchenko, which is
Yeah.
probably why it don't work as well.
Okay, so we now got to talk about goal scorers. Who should we be worried about? Because I'm looking at your team. It's really just Maddison and Barnes. Nobody else really offers anything when it
Ian
comes to goal
Acho.
scorer. So is it kind of like if Maddison doesn't play, you kind of feel like you're not going to get a goal?
I wouldn't go that far, but he's a huge part of our creative output. I'd say Tete, he offers a threat, but it's like he's played 3 games for us. So you don't know, like you don't really know what you're going to get from him. He looks lively. He always looks a threat, and he looks active. I'd say Iheanacho and Barnes are the two to watch if Maddison isn't playing. But then obviously you've got Maddison on top of that, and then Tielemans as well. Like as much as he started to fall out of favour with a lot of sort of and down the pecking order at Leicester, he's still got that moment where you don't give him too much time on the ball. I don't know if you remember earlier on this season against Everton, like that volley, absolute rocket of a goal, and then a week later he scored the exact same goal away at Wolves.
Yeah. You know what? I hear that. I hear that. Let's quickly just shift into the final stages of this. What are you saying for score predictions and overall predictions? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, there is many places where I could go with this, but even the experts are picking Arsenal to win 3-1. So it's like
To be fair though, that
we're
they
massive.
also predicted Tottenham to beat us 4-0. So I never really take what the so-called experts say too seriously. But my thing is, I think if we get at you early, because of the fact you haven't been on the best run of form, if we try and play football against play a football game against you, you guys will play us off the park. But if we
What
make
about
it,
this one quickly? Sorry about that. Tite is the one to worry about. Amin says.
yeah, he looks a lively player. He caused Villa and Spurs all sorts of problems. So he does look like a good player. But again, it's 3 games. I don't want to like after 3 games say he's like something special and then be sitting here in 6 games saying, oh, who is this bloke? But what I was saying about before is if we try and play football against you and go toe to toe with you, that's exactly what you want, and we will get played off the park. I want us to make it an ugly game where we sort of rough you up a little bit, see if you want it that way, because I think that's our best chance of getting anything from the game is making it a horrible game, like where we sit deep, try and hit you guys on the counter and really frustrate you guys. Because if we open up too much, you've got the players to hurt us. But I feel like at the same time, and like your record over recent weeks shows it. If we are good on the counter, which we can be with players like Barnes, Iheanacho, Tete, then I think we can cause you problems.
There you go. So what's your actual score prediction going to be? If you had to
Oh,
give,
I want to
give
say
me in the chat. Give me your score predictions also.
I
I
want to
want
say I want to say 2-1 Leicester, but I'm gonna go 2-2. But
big up
I've got a positive feeling.
2-2,
Yeah.
bro. How are you guys gonna score 2 goals?
Well, we scored apart from the United game. You say that we're the second highest scorers in the league. It's just everything that goes in the other end.
Oh, really?
Second or third highest goal scorers in the league, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we
Is
score
it?
goals. We score loads of goals. We just concede loads.
What about at home? Are you guys really good at home?
No, we're pretty average everywhere we go.
Okay, so I'm
But
looking. No, you guys aren't that bad at home. Your record at home is you played 11 games, you've lost five, you've drawn three, you've won three.
yeah,
Hmm.
so not
Our
great.
away our away record is the best away record in the Premier League. We've only lost two games, drawn one, and won nine. So we have the best away. We have the best. What do you call it? Record away from home in the Premier League. I think we're gonna be able to keep it going. I'm not just gonna say it because we have the best record, but when you look at our goals and everything that we've had this season, it's not about goals and everything. To us, it's about managing the game. Once we get a lead and we pick up the game early, it's pretty much like smooth sailing from there. If the game is tight going into halftime, that's where we start getting nervy. So as long as we pick up an early goal, it could be 2-3 before the end of the night quite quickly. But if you guys get to the halftime whistle without any goal being conceded, and you guys are up or it's tie game is 0-0, then you have an opportunity to try to pick up something from the game. I don't think you guys are going to be able to cope with us in the opening 20, 30 minutes. If you can weather the storm for the first 20 minutes, you're going to have a good game. If you can't, it's curtains because we start off quick out the gate. And when it comes to goals scored, you're right. Leicester have Leicester have scored more goals than Newcastle this season, more than Chelsea, more than Fulham, more than Aston Villa. So you guys are scoring goals. It's just you've conceded 41 goals. I think
Yeah,
that's up there with the worst in the league.
it is. But since we've signed two new defenders, and since that's our defense, it's not looking brilliant, but it's looking better than it did before. And it's like with a new centre back partnership, it's always going to take time for it to gel. But a lot of those goals conceded came in those first 8 games. So, like, our first 8 games are absolutely horrendous, and we've probably got the worst goalkeeper in the league. Who's like, if we're being honest, but
Hey, he's my fantasy keeper. He does well. he does enough for
you
me.
you know
Mine
what annoys me more about Danny Ward than anything is the fact that we've got Iverson on the bench, who went out on loan to the Championship last year, was a goalkeeper of the season in the Championship, and we're still not giving him a chance.
Why don't you?
I don't know, and I've been asking this all season. He's one of the best. He's 24, so for a goalkeeper, that's very very young. And he was I believe in the team of the season for the Championship last year. I would understand not giving him a chance if we still had Schmeichel here, or if Danny Ward was smashing it week in week out. Danny Ward he's not as bad as he's made out, but he's a Championship level goalkeeper. If I'm honest, he's lower Premier League Championship level. But the fact that Iverson looks like he might be moving on in the summer because he wants to play football. You know, when you can see one of these deals happening, and it's like, we're going to regret this in a couple of years. And it's like, I'm already getting that feeling about it. It's like, what have we got to lose by giving him like a run of 2 or 3 games and even like 5 games in the league to see like what he's about?
Sometimes players have nudes on managers. That's what it is. I'm just gonna be honest. I think I'm gonna go with a 3-1. I think you guys we're gonna concede, but it's gonna be like against the run of play, and you guys are gonna get a late goal, but we're gonna win 3-1. I think that's my crazy score line of the day that I'm going for. Guys, in the comment section, let me know what your score prediction is in the chat. Honestly, Ant, it's been a great show. Big up for you jumping on. Everyone, make sure you do check out his channel. The link is in the title of the video. That is the link to his channel. If you guys can, if it's come up, yeah, you can click on it and it goes straight to the link to his channel. People calling it Danny Ward tax. Danny Ward is bad. But yeah, people, we're out of here. Not scoring 2 against us. Yeah, you're not scoring 2 against us.
Villa did.
Second highest away from home. What? Second highest goals conceded away from home?
No, goals scored.
Is it?
Yeah. This is what I mean. Like, people don't realise going forward, we cause problems. It's like even at the Emirates, we scored
No,
2.
no. You guys are third highest actually. It is Arsenal, Brighton, then Leicester. So
Yeah,
not bad. Not bad.
not. It's just the fact that we've had Dan Marty, Luke Thomas, and Danny Ward as part of our
But that
defence.
means you guys don't score goals at home.
To be fair though, no, we scored our record at home.
You scored 15 goals at home this season. That's not that good.
It's not good, but it's not awful. Like when you look, how many games have we played at home? It's like 8, haven't we?
11.
8 or 9?
11.
11. Yeah, that's
That's
not that bad.
That's pretty bad. Think about it this way. Newcastle, who barely score goals this season, have 19 goals in 12 games. You got Aston Villa, who are above you with 19 goals. You have Brighton. Nottingham Forest have the same amount of goals scored at home as you guys do.
Yeah, it's one of those like, and I hate to sound like this because I know it's part of the season, but I try and remove those opening 8 games from it because those opening 8, and I know it's a big part of the season, 8 games, but when you look at everything that was going on around Leicester at that time, with obviously Fofana basically stropping around the pitch and not wanting to play, we had banners coming out home and away every week of Rodgers out and like asking the board to sack him. So those opening 8 games, like very, very toxic. But you move beyond those opening 8 games, it has improved massively. Not to where I think this squad should be, because like Brendan Rodgers has had a lot of goodwill from Leicester fans because of what he'd achieved previously. I still think this squad is good enough to be pushing top 8.
Top 8 is not that bad. You guys could easily do that. It's not even that wild.
No, and that'll be Conference League football, which is why I still think Brendan Rodgers is underperforming with the squad that we've got.
He definitely is, because Brendan Rodgers could have been sacked if it wasn't another thing. But hey, that West Ham game changed everything. I'm gonna let you go though. You have yourself a wonderful day, and big up to everyone in the chat. Hopefully we win tomorrow, and I'll be back at 8 p.m. with a video after all the games are done. I'll do a video at the end of the day just to talk about the Arsenal game, because you guys know there's no point in me doing an Arsenal match reaction in the middle of another game at like 5:30. No one's watching. So 8 o'clock we'll do it. You guys enjoy your Premier League games. I'll see you tomorrow. Big up Mustafa, my Somali brother in the chat, and big up George, my Leicester friend in the chat, and big up everyone else, especially Anas with the membership. You guys can also become members to the channel. We also have another member in the chat. Where did he go? I've seen another one. But yeah, big up Tamina, big up Josh, big up everyone else. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. We're out of here, people. Don't forget to hit that goddamn like button and leave a comment down below your score prediction for the game. I'm going with a 3-1 Arsenal win. You're going with a 2-2 draw. Desmond, we're out of here.